Hello, beautiful Taurus. Welcome to Mind, Body, and Heart Tarot Therapy. I'm here to do the reading for the month of November 2019. We just entered Scorpio season, so good, good luck with that, all of us. We're entering Sagittarius season later, November, so it's a quite of intense month for all of us, and but also with huge potential for getting more real, getting deeper into much deeper layers of ourselves, and making peace with that and transforming. Like Scorpio has this huge power of transformation and going into the taboo, the parts of ourselves that we weren't always present with because they're scary or because they're powerful, because they're dark, and also getting in touch with deep fears of death, and fears of intimacy and connection. So that's a very interesting month for us. There's a very interesting themes, and then we're going into Sagittarius season, which is intense in a different way, but it's that jump towards optimism and about expansion and going deep into our higher minds and so on. So let's see how this energy is going to support you and what are going to be your challenges. This is a general reading, so it's not going to apply to all of you. If it resonates, it resonates, and if it doesn't, then it just doesn't. It's not your reading. Don't try to fit it in. Don't worry. If it's your reading, you will definitely know. I mean, use your own intuition, and it's very clear most of the time. You would feel as if I'm talking directly to you. All right, so I've pre-shuffled your cards already, but yeah, it seems that we already have Ace of Cups is your current energy. How beautiful that is. It's opening your heart. All right, and let's see, what's your challenge here? Okay, so your challenge is the Two of Swords, Six of Pentacles as your focus. The Tower as your advice. I love when the Tower comes as advice. And the Page of Wands as your future energy. It's kind of where this journey is taking you. And we have the Ten of Wands. Ten of Wands is your underlying energy. All right, so you're reaching the end of your spiritual cycle, what you've been through, and wow, there's a lot going on here. All right, let's clarify first. Okay, we have the King of Cups with the Ace of Cups as your current energy. Oh my God, Taurus, you really have quite an emotional present moment, which is truly beautiful. We have the Emperor as your challenge with the Two of Swords. We have Death as your focus. This is Scorpio energy. This is what I was talking about with the transformation. We have the Eight of Pentacles as your advice with the Tower. I think this showed up in your October reading as well. The Moon with the Page of Wands as your future energy. And yet another two, the Two of Wands with the Ten of Wands here as your underlying energy is the theme of this reading. Okay, so my darlings, what's going on here? I feel like, yeah, you're going through this the end of a spiritual cycle here. If you're engaged in a spiritual practice of some sort, you're reaching a point of yeah, it's a threshold which propels you into your next cycle here, spiritual cycle, and the way you show up into that, your relationship to your spirituality, the relationship with also not just spirituality, but your passion, your what you're putting out into the world really is that fire energies, that action based energy, like really that what we're propelling out from our inner space and how we're doing that. And yeah, well, as is depicted in this imagery, the 10 of wands can feel quite overwhelming. It feels heavy. It feels like you've been carrying a lot on your back. And it's actually a beautiful moment of release when we drop all these wands that we've been carrying. This person here cannot carry these forever. Seems like he's carrying all these wands towards this town here in order to build something with that. But well, I don't know if it's necessary and if it's possible to carry them all at once to this town, because if he breaks his back here, he won't be able to continue the building, and he's just going to, or if he's like over exhausted, he won't be able to do much work afterwards, you know. So you're learning that now. You're learning that breaking point, and you're learning about the threshold, uh, which you've probably been enlarging, which is great, you know. As we grow in our inner work, we realize that we're kind of expanding a little bit the threshold for our reactivity, for our um where we get triggered, and how when it becomes too much and we explode, or when we go like we raise the shields and we go within and so on. um and it's great because that makes us more resilient, and it's good to have resilience. It's good to have the power to actually carry all this, but you're also understanding that you need to self-care here, and you need to make sure that you carry until you are able to be carrying. And you can't carry this for, you can't expect for yourself of yourself to carry all this forever. That's not part of the journey, you know. Part of the actual journey is to drop this shit. And yeah, well, the twin of wands, as I said, is it's an end of a cycle, but it also it's a connection with the whole, connection with the universe. But it also can mean spiritual complications out there when you start like opening up to things that you didn't know were there. Maybe you realize that these ones that you've been carrying were not yours to carry. Or maybe you realize that you are on a messiah complex journey, and that needs to be dealt with because that's not how it's working. I don't know where that came from, but it could be, you know. The way we relate to our spirituality and the way we relate to ourselves, in that, do we look for salvation? Do we look to save others in order to serve ourselves? Do we look to um attain something? Where is it coming from? So you're opening up to this whole new stuff, and I think that it takes you to a decision making place where you need to decide where you want to go with this knowledge that you've learned from this spiritual journey. See, you're the two of wands talks about making a decision and about like understanding that you don't need to go with whatever comes. You can take your time to decide what works for you, and you are the one, like, you're holding the world in your hand. That means that you literally create your own reality. And most of the time we create a reality from an unconscious way. We're not aware what we're creating there, and we're repeating patterns over and over and over again because we're recreating like things that hurt us in the past. We're recreating the same scenarios over and over again with different castings, like, I don't know, like family dynamics, whatever that was. We're recreating the familiar, and if it comes from an unconscious way, we're just going to go for that again and again and again. But if we are conscious when we create, we realize that, okay, yeah, I understand where that's coming from. I'm taking responsibility for my feelings here, and I'm taking responsibility for the reasons why I've been uh, maybe I'm starting becoming more aware of my wounds, and I can start creating a space that helps me heal those wounds rather than just have them pointed out, you know. It's okay that I've been through what I've been because my wounds had been pointed out to me, that they scream for attention. but now I can create a safe space for me to work with that. Now I can create from a place of love. Now I can create from a place of compassion and from a place of emotional vulnerability rather than defensiveness. Does that make sense to you? I hope it does, because it's important. But there you go, like with this, this is kind of what takes you to the end of this cycle, right? Being able to truly open your heart, being able to really, really feel that place of love abundance, and that love that comes from within, not outside. When you are able to feel so in love with life and so connected to the divine love that your heart pours out love for the world, for the for being, for life, for everything and everyone. When you realize that there's only love, actually, that's all there is, and we're just not able to recognize that. And with the Knight of King of Cups here, you're getting like also mastery of how to feel your emotions and how to communicate your emotions and how to expressively, creatively play around with your emotions. Not your emotions, but expressing that is like in a theater maybe, or I don't know what kind of creative way of expressing, and sharing that love. The King of Cups. I don't know why I'm saying Knight of Cups. I said it twice. Maybe there's that growth there. The King of Cups talks really about mastery and talks about having, like, being able to feel your emotion but not being driven by your emotions. You're fully present with them, and you're fully also he's like the loving father and an amazing counselor. You are able to counsel yourself. You're able to relate to the places of hurt and pain by reparenting yourself, really. And that's just fucking fantastic. So hats off there, Taurus. Do enjoy this moment because it's just great. Okay. Challenging for you seems to be, again, decision making. You feel like you're in a fork in the road, having to deal with the way you think about stuff. The Two of Swords talks about the mind energy, but it's a mind applied at an emotional level. So you have all these emotions here, and you're opening yourself up. But then it becomes oh, like, how am I going to communicate this? How am I going to put this into the world? How am I going to act from here? And the Emperor talks about discipline, authority, father figure, action. It's Aries energy. It's very action based. It's like, okay, I am here and I'm the king of my castle, and I am putting these intentions out there and these actions out there following my intentions. So when we're opening up to this beautiful soft spot around ourselves, within ourselves, we can also ask ourselves, okay, so how am I putting that into the world? It is a little bit challenging, it's challenging for everyone, because if you're always vulnerable, we could also become prey to those that prey off vulnerability. We need to understand when can we be vulnerable and when it's necessary to put boundaries, when it's necessary to put rules in place. Boundaries are pretty much rules of how we can communicate, and it's like, this is the manual of how we can co-create this relationship or this type of interaction. And it's very challenging to put boundaries because people tend to perceive boundaries as rejection. And also for me, it's hard to say, okay, I'm actually not okay with that, because I'm used to act in a certain way or accommodate certain things that I wasn't comfortable with because that was expected of me, maybe at some point in my life. And I've been carrying maybe a lot of stuff that wasn't mine. So I feel like it's some part of my duty. But this is part of also like dropping off these ones here and understanding that, well, you know what? I can be loving and I can be coming from that place of true, deep, unconditional love, but I can also uh, put some rules in place of how am I going to interact from there. Because if I'm always just that beacon of light, then, and I'm trying all the time to just do the right thing and the loving thing, I may burn myself out. So the emperor here talks a lot about structure and about action and about providing for yourself and understanding your own needs and understanding also other people's needs, because boundaries go both way, and it's not just I'm setting up the rules here, we're co-creating these boundaries. We have to, otherwise it becomes detrimental. It's not about asking for dominating. Actually, that's the dark side of the emperor, is that it can go into a very domineering character if it's not in check, if it's not, whenever you feel maybe that you don't really know how to cope with the situation, you might go too much into trying to dominate, into trying to dictate your rules and your boundaries and the way you think things should be. And you may feel entitled in this sense because you've reached this point of opening that feels really enlightening, and you're like, okay, now I'm enlightened, so here are the rules. I'm putting them out there for everyone to follow. I'm not saying this is necessarily the case, but just watch out for that. Watch out for when this inner dictator comes in and is trying to dictate even to you in your inner landscape how you should communicate, what decisions you should be making, or like stopping you from making some decisions simply for holding a familiar space. Okay, I hope that's not confusing for you. Your focus is the Six of Wands with the Death card, and the Six of Wands talks about Six of Pentacles talks about balancing out the way you're using your energy, and also all sixes talk about service and yeah, it's that part of spiritual growth where we making peace with certain aspects of ourselves. Six of Cups talking about making peace with our past. Six of Swords talks about making peace and moving away from certain thought patterns and that self-care and limiting belief, like moving away from that. The Six of Pentacles talks about like, how am I showing up here from that place of kindness. It's telling us, okay, it talks about kindness. We can always be kind no matter what. We can be kind also when we put our rules and our boundaries. We can be kind when we are giving. We can be kind when we are taking. And this talks a lot about giving and taking. Is it like asking the question, are you giving too much, or are you giving too little? When are you giving too much, and when are you giving too little? And also, when you give, from what place are you giving? What are you expecting? Are you expecting something in return, or are you giving it because you have and you have extra? When you have so much love, it's beautiful to give some love, and to show that, and to through action and through physical um physical representation of that love. Sometimes by just putting time with some people, that it's like by listening up, by being present with them, by holding space, that's showing a lot of love. Spending time together. Or sometimes it's like literally giving a gift in terms of money, and in terms of physical goods. And you Taurus are really good at this. I mean, like you're amazing at feeling people special by doing like very practical things for them, and sensual things like the whole related to this earth energy, physical reality, cooking a good meal, uh solving some practical stuff for them, giving them help with practical issues, but also, like, if you're over giving, that you let yourself dry, and you don't have, like, if this guy gives more than he's able to have to give, then he won't have anything left for himself, and he's gonna end up being like having to beg, or having to, and it's okay to receive, these people are actually grateful for this, and they're not, there's nothing wrong with receiving. But the point is, like, when I give, I need to give as much as I can give, not more. And that's why we need the boundaries. And also, when we're not don't want to give, when we feel like, oh, I don't want to give anything right now, I just need to completely take care of myself, if we're like closing down and we're not allowing for this exchange to happen, and we're not coming from that place of kindness, we are sometimes, I don't really know how to put this, we can get stingy, like when we're holding on to our resources. That's the Four of Pentacles, though, but then you grow out of that. The Six of Pentacles talks about service, talks about kindness. So yeah, look where you're giving too much, and wherever you're giving too little, and also look at about receiving. When are you open to receive? Sometimes we feel like, I don't know when it came out, like that whole messiah complex type of energy. We feel like we are sometimes some type of a messiah, where we're here to give the world our wisdom and our deep understanding from our heart opening, and it's great to do that. But if we're overdoing this, and we're turning into missionaries there, and we're not open to receive, then that means that in a conversation, for example, I just want to tell you about the world, about my understanding of the world, but I'm not open to receive your version of reality, and that's limiting me. I have a lot to lose here. Maybe the other person, if they're open to receive, they will receive. But if I'm only on giving mode and I'm not receiving anymore, there's no more exchange and there's no more growth, and it's going to be a depleted point at some point, and it crashes. It comes with death, right? So I think there's going to be a deep transformation in the way you look at this, at the giving and the receiving, and the way you look at service also. Like, where have I been serving from before? What am I getting white points of the divinity, or am I actually doing this from not for my ego, but really for feeding up my soul? When we're doing genuine service, when we're truly helping out of kindness, we are it's not about anyone else knowing. It's not about proving anything, and it's not about expecting any type of reward for that from anywhere. It's really because of the joy of giving and receiving. We start, like, with this the death card here. I think there's going to be a really, really deep transformation on how you perceive this, because it's Scorpio energy. It's that type of transformation that leaves you completely changed afterwards, and it goes in the taboo, and it goes in the dark corner of your psyche here. And it's important to have that growth. That's actually what's going to help you drop off that load, and understand that it's okay to just be, and it's okay to be wherever you've been here. Whatever that's been manifesting for you, it's learning, and you're just getting familiar with energies, and it's getting familiar with the collective consciousness. And the more we develop love and acceptance for everything there is, the more we are able to participate into this transformation of energy that we all go through as a collective. And we are loving and accepting myself, and loving and accepting of the world. And it's just, I know this is like becoming a little bit of a cliche to say raising the vibrations, but it is what it is. Your advice, the Tower, with the Eight of Pentacles. When the Tower comes at advice, we're really being pointed at allowing ourselves to think differently. to let go of what created my reality so far. Letting go of whatever, like shaking up your world a little bit, shaking up the way you perceive the world. And it might come as a shake up, like, this deep transformation into the way you give and take may really uh, shake you to the core a little bit. But with the Eight of Pentacles here, it tells me that you're turning this into a really, really good work. You're putting in the work, you're putting in the hours, you're putting in the effort, the physical effort to build up something new, something that's more stable, something that has a lot of value. And you're able to let go of old belief systems and old paradigms. Really, you're changing the paradigm of your life here, and where you're relating from, and how you're putting your boundaries, and how you're giving and taking. And this tower, if you're allowing it to fall apart, if you're allowing this defense mechanism you've created, and these walls that you've created around yourself to not feel vulnerable, if you allow it to fall, with Eight of Pentacles here tells me that you're not going to fall at all. Actually, you're falling on very solid grounding. You have the foundation. Actually, Eight talks about like very, very deep structure. It's something very structured, very secure, very like it's also an Eight, it's like the feedback. It's also like structure of the lower, like the physical world, but also of your spiritual world, And look at this person here. He really enjoys his crafts. He really enjoying himself, like creating and building these things, these pentacles, and he takes his time with it, and he's like putting in the it's working with your hands, and the hands-on experience. You're not falling anywhere there. You have already the structure and the direction for your new way of being. And what you're dropping off is the load, the extra load, really. This, whatever defense mechanism had been created here, whatever strategies you've been relying on in your for your psyche to feel, for your ego to feel safe, they're not needed anymore. And this also comes as a deep enlightening moment. It's like grace of God. It's like something that you've been carrying for long enough, and now it's kind of like in your karmic journey, in your path. It's a really time to let go of them. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. And where is this taking you? Well, it's taking you to the Page of Wands and the Moon. The Page of Wands is again, this is a 10, and it's the page. The Page of Wands is continuation after this. It's like the new cycle coming in, and it's like evolving, really. Pages talk about transformation as well, but it's the transformation that's like really like when children are growing, is that comes naturally. And with the pages, and it also talks about messages, right? So you're looking at your wand here. This person looks at his wand as if it's like the most unique and most beautiful thing on that he's ever seen on this planet. He starts seeing the value of his own authentic self. The ones talk about like, yeah, spirituality, passion, and action. And you understand now how your heart can lead. You understand how you can put your actions from a heart-based place. And you're also understanding how to connect with your intuition, and how to use your fear as your ally, really, and how to look into your fear and learn the information that's been held for you there. All our emotions and all our physical sensations are really guides and teachers for us. When we feel fear, we understand when we feel vulnerable. When we feel anger, we understand when we feel that we are powerless, and we learn how to create a safe space for us. So yeah, hats off again, Taurus. That seems to be a beautiful journey. I'm gonna pull out a Rumi oracle for you. Okay, this one seems to want to come out. And we have, she offers the sacred wine, so drink. And it's number 32. Ooh la la. What's that saying for us? See me having access to some sacred wine. Okay, so the Rumi poem that comes with this card says, "Oh, wine giver of enlightened hearts." Enlightened hearts. I talked twice, so I think it is reading about moments of feeling enlightened. So, "Oh, wine giver of enlightened hearts, offer me the wine of your kindness. For this is the reason you have brought me here from the desert of oblivion." Just wanted to show you that there's a desert right here. And this person starts like seeing the value into this growing tree. Because ones are like, yeah, well, you know. "Oh, beautiful wine giver, pour me the wine that gives me insight. Offer me the wine from the sea of love, and fill my heart with pearls. Pour into my heart until I shred the veil and go beyond reason." I shred the veil. "My spirit is consumed by judgment, and my life is reduced by thoughts. Pour that precious wine over the frozen cries of skeptics, until their words become warm and their nays become yes." How beautiful that is. Well, there's a long talk here, but I'm gonna jump to the guidance. This oracle comes with guidance for you. Are you having fun yet? Well, you may need to wash your hair and tend to your accounts. That is fine. You may even need to count your fingers and toes, but over and over again, beloved. Surely you can find some time in between the endless to-dos of your to-do list to throw a tantrum and come dancing with me instead. Your honor and commitment, discipline and focus are certainly to be rewarded. Where is it? This. Don't get stuck in this either. Sorry. Okay. So there's like your honor and commitment, discipline and focus are certainly to be rewarded with some uninhibited nonsense, hopefully. Come, put aside that seriousness for a moment or more and allow the wild child in you to take your body and soul for a spin. Together, let's go and paint the town the color of love. Beautiful. I see something, a paragraph here, but for some reason I find it important. Actually, first was this one. "You are being offered a gift that is beyond the divine, beloved, an offering to you that will lift you beyond what you have known into the next opening of your inner eye, of your heart, of your soul, so that it may caress the earth with the light of heaven." Will you accept the gift that is coming to you, the offering that the sacred feminine brings to you now? It is sweet wine she offers. It shall be an enjoyable journey receiving this gift, wearing a way of resistance and restraints towards life through the sheer pleasure of aliveness without thought. What a journey this is. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Everyone will envy you, though if you open your heart to invite them too, many will say, "Oh no, I have to wash my hair and I have to sort through my accounts and cut my fingers and my toes. It will take me too long and I simply won't be ready to attend." But you go, of course. You enjoy yourself whilst I'm at working long and hard at things so very important. And you may hang your head and wonder if you too should stay at home to wash your hair and tend your accounts and count your toes and so on. But then you'll hear the distant sounds of clinking glasses of music and stomping and dancing and laughter, and you'll think a wise thought, so wise indeed that you'll stop thinking immediately after thinking it, that it will be, "Forget this to-do list, I'm going to have some fun." So there you go, have some fun. Have some fun by dropping this load. Enjoy your work, but don't get stuck in there. Enjoy your allow the decision making to really soothe you and work for you, not just to do what's supposed to be done. And come, open your heart, baby. This is beautiful. Thank you so much for doing your inner work and for being here with me. If you do resonate with this reading, please spread some love, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you here soon. Enjoy Scorpio season.